This video is slightly unusual in that it's two parts. They're both related, but for reasons that will become clear, I've separated the two. So, first part. Almost a week ago, I was driving up to see JCB for reasons that will become clear in the next week or two. It was a day much like today, so bright, sunny, not a cloud in the sky effectively. I was driving up the M40, just got to the Banbury turn-off, minding my own business, driving in the middle lane, when all of a sudden a driver in a truck from the slow lane decided to pull out. He clipped the rear end of my car and basically turned me right across the front of his truck. He then proceeded to push me a couple of 100 yards up the M40 sideways before we finally came to a rest, thankfully on the hard shoulder. There were a few moments there where I actually thought I was going to hit the crash barrier. You know, your life flashes before your eyes, and I remember thinking I could have done more with my life. But the fact was, I walked away unharmed. The driver got out, apologised profusely, the one word of English that he spoke, for reasons that I'll explain in a second. And by and large, my car was largely unhurt as well. Obviously dented, but nothing major. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because of effectively what happened immediately after. So it turns out the driver of the truck was Romanian registered. The driver himself was Romanian. Now I mention that not because of racist overtones or anything like that, but because it was a Romanian registered and a Romanian truck, it was a left-hand drive. So from his point of view on the far side of the truck, I was invisible. Now, I was driving a bright green Peugeot 206. It's not the biggest car in the world, it's not the best car in the world, but it's a car. Now, obviously I had got to the point in his field of vision where I'd obviously gone past his side mirrors, so he couldn't see me there, and I was too low to be seen from his driving position looking down towards the road, which is not dissimilar to the experience of cyclists riding alongside demolition and construction trucks in cities like London and Manchester and so on. And it was a real eye-opener for me. If a truck driver can't see a car, you know, not, as I say, not a big car, but if you can't see a car, a cyclist has really got no hope. I know a lot of demolition companies, and I can think of a few off the top of my head, like McGee's and Keltbray and Erith, have hosted cycle awareness days. They've had cyclists come to their premises and switch places with the truck drivers and vice versa, so that they can both see the limitations of visibility for the truck driver and the areas where a cyclist shouldn't be. And that, you know, based on my experience now, and as I say, I'm completely unharmed, but based on my experience, I really would strongly recommend that if you're a demolition or a construction company running trucks, particularly trucks that are operating in a city, then please consider this, because as I've proved, you're basically invisible. If you get to that certain point alongside a truck, you're invisible. I was lucky, I walked away. A cyclist wouldn't have done. Now, part 2 of this video will appear up above my head in a few seconds. But thanks for watching this one, and I hope you'll follow on over to the other video, because that takes a slightly different look at much the same subject.